All right, here's our agenda for today. Several of our teammates will be coming on to provide some updates. I'll kick things off, as I usually do for mid-year update webinars, to provide a highlight of our program evaluation from the preceding year for 2023. I'll turn it over to our energy portfolio manager, Courtney Wojcik, who will give an update on the residential and business portfolio, and also provide a summary of some of the upcoming trainings opportunities. And then our operations director, Aaron Soman, will provide an overview of our future focus, which is our pilots, our research, innovation, really cool things going on in that area. Speaking of cool, I get to turn it over to the coolest member of our team, our marketing director, Chris Schultz-Biechner, who has a lot of cool things to talk about with our marketing and public relations initiatives. And then what everyone's anticipating to hear, I assume, is an update on the federal IRA home energy rebates. So we'll have Dylan Cry, who's the program manager and has been incredibly busy with his colleagues, our colleagues, and setting up the program, getting it ready to launch very soon, and he'll provide an update on where we're at with that. So if you have any questions, I think you could just pose those into the chat feature, which is that little dialog box at the top. Since we have so many of the focus team online, we probably can answer some of those questions instantaneously, so as we go. Otherwise, feel free to come off mute and ask your questions. We want this to be free form presentation. Make sure to get your questions answered. All right, program evaluation from last year. Of course, one of the most important metrics that we look at as an energy efficiency program is our energy savings. We have a 4-year energy savings goal, and 2023 was the first year completed of those 4 years. So what this graph shows is the progress on energy savings towards our 4-year goal. We are exceeding our kind of internal goal of 25%, which would be 1/4 of the 4 years for overall energy savings. That's MMBTU, where therms is running ahead of what we expected, and electric savings KWH is running right about what we had targeted, 25%, 24%. So pretty good showing of energy savings in 2023. Looks like electric savings are going to be the challenge for us going forward, but we've are aware of that and are addressing that and trying to take steps to address to achieve more energy or more electric savings in the program. The other important metric to all of us is customer satisfaction. We've historically done very well with this metric, and once again, we're showing that your customers are really satisfied with the Focus on Energy program, with the delivery of the incentives and resources. This graph shows the scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is not satisfied at all and 10 being extremely satisfied with the program. All of the different program offerings scored very well in the low 9s or mid 9s. 9.4 is the portfolio average. So really high customer satisfaction. And that we should give a lot of credit to not only our program staff, but you utilities also referring your customers, giving your customers information about the Focus program, making sure it's a good experience for them. Also our trade allies, who are very key as frontline representatives of the Focus program, working directly with your customers. So there's a lot of contributors to this satisfaction goal that we need to recognize. Cost effectiveness is another important metric for the program. We must run a program that returns more benefits than it costs. There's 2 primary cost benefit measures or calculations that we look at. One is called the Modified Total Resource Cost Test, which is the numbers that are shown in this graph. In 2023, that cost benefit was 2.17. And essentially what that does is take the cost of delivering the program, administration costs, or the cost to the participant versus the benefits. And the benefits for the modified total resource costs are avoided utility costs or avoided energy costs, for example, and emissions benefits. So that number is a little bit lower this year than prior years, primarily because those utility costs came down over the year. Essentially, the cost of natural gas to generate power is lower than it has been in previous years. But it's fairly consistent with some of the previous years and still is well above the above 1.0. The second cost effectiveness test that we use is the expanded total resource cost, which includes economic benefits. So when you factor that in, we return over $3.75 or $3.75 for every dollar spent on the program. Another thing I always like to share with you too is when we do our customer satisfaction surveys, we include a question about the customer's perception of their utility. There's a couple parts to that question. One is we want to know, are they aware that focus is brought to them because of their because they are a customer of a participating utility? And also, how has participating in focus affected their opinion of their utility? And we've been doing this for the last several years now, and we always get some really positive results from these questions where we see quite a few of your customers are aware that focus is brought to them because of their utility, and they also have a high opinion, or their opinion of their utility has improved because of their participation in focus. What I show here is the non-residential results from the different business and non-residential programs. And this next slide will be the residential. And so you can see from both of these, a vast majority of your customers' opinion of your utility has improved because of their participation in focus. This has a lot to do with co-branding the offerings, making sure your customers know that they're eligible for focus resources because they are your customers and you participate in the focus program. So thank you for your assistance with this. I think the results of this customer opinion are really beneficial not only to our program, but also to your organization too. Next, I am going to turn it over to Courtney, who will give an update on the program offerings.
Thank you, Matt. I wanted to start off today by providing an overview of how 2024 is going. So at about halfway through the year, we are at about 32% of our 2024 target. This is about 11% behind where we thought we were going to be when we started the year. You'll see here that we've got business at 24% and residential at 55%. So much of that slower than anticipated start is attributed to what we're seeing on the business side. We've had prescriptive application quantities are down, but we've also seen quite a few projects being bumped into the third and fourth quarter of this year, and some even getting bumped into 2025. So that has contributing to our slower than expected start. All in all, though, we are expected to end the year on target. You see that pretty good boost in October and through the remainder of the year. So we are expected to end the year at 101% of our MMBTU. We are expected to fall short, unfortunately, on our electric savings. That was a challenge we had last year. We're continuing to see fewer projects with lighting, which as the market gets more saturated, we tend to see more of that happen. But therms continues to be doing very well. A lot of our custom projects are therm projects, and that's only continuing to bring that number further ahead of our target. So all in all, here's how 2024 is shaping up to be and where we're expected to be. Matt, you can go to the next slide. For residential updates, Heating and cooling instant discounts for HVAC equipment launched on June 1st. So those are now available through participating distributors. And you can find a list of our participating distributors on the Focus on Energy website. The last day to apply for our prescriptive rebates was June 30th. As far as insulation and air sealing, we did add rebates for sill box as well as verified duct sealing. And we made some adjustments to our requirements for insulation and air sealing. We no longer require attic and wall insulation in conjunction with foundation and duct sealing. And we also removed the limitation related to the insulation incentives for which were previously limited to one incentive every 3 years. Now you can complete attic insulation every 3 years, wall insulation every 3 years. We made that adjustment to allow customers more flexibility to tackle projects based upon where their need was. You can find full details on this on the insulation and air sealing page if you'd like more information. On May 1st, we made some changes to our solar PV incentives. The residential reservations were eligible for a $300 flat rate, and the rural bonus was also adjusted to $300. For non-residential and multifamily, those incentive rates were adjusted to $50 per kW. And then as originally planned, we are discontinuing the affordable housing solar PV incentive at the end of the year. The Solar for All opportunity has definitely made those projects more affordable. So that pilot is, like I said, coming to an end as originally planned to. Go to the next slide, Matt. As far as what we've got coming up, the online marketplace will have a promotion for Energy Awareness Month for weatherization products. That's happening in October. And then similar to years past, we will be having a thermostat sale for Black Friday in November. We'll also be launching a new tenant resource webpage in Q3. And then also Targeted Kits is going to be launching in Q3. So for those of you who aren't as familiar with that, Focus on Energy has partnered with food banks and community-based organizations and offering kits to individuals who use those resources. We took the opportunity to take into consideration feedback we got through the evaluation process to redesign that offering. That, like I said, it will be launching in Q3. We're going to be offering individual products this time in lieu of the packaged kits based upon that feedback, and we'll continue to share how the market responds to that new approach. As far as business updates, no mid-year changes to our prescriptive or custom incentive amounts. I just want to take a moment to promote some of the additional participation opportunities we have available right now. That includes the competitive incentive RFP, our compressed air energy challenge, nonprofit, efficiency accelerator, the project planning bonus, and then some rural initiatives, including the electric reduction accelerator, the roadway lighting bonus, and the 123 energy audit. You can find information on all of these participation opportunities on the Focus on Energy website linked here. And then also another notable update, the Community Impact Pilot launched in Portage and in Madison this year. This joins the other 5 communities that we launched in 2023. Of the pilot communities that we've launched thus far, I believe Ashland and Menasha are coming to a close. So we will be having a very busy Q2, Q3 in closing out our activities associated with those projects for the pilot. I think that wraps up the program specific updates. Heading into trainings, we have a couple webinars coming up in August, including those for motors, fans, and pumps, as well as one related to insulation. And then in September, there'll be 2 trainings, one for HVAC and another on ventilation fans. And lastly, we'll have an in-person training on August 6th in Kaukauna on the fundamentals of compressed air. You can find our full calendar of training at the link below. With that, I believe Erin is up next to talk about Future Focus.
Thank you, Courtney. As Matt had mentioned, Future Focus is Focus on Energy's name for the process we use to review new concepts and technologies that have the potential to expand the range and the value of services with utility customers, while also achieving our desired program outcomes of energy savings and high customer satisfaction. So future focus really consists of pilots and demonstration projects, emerging technology, and the environmental and economic research and development. I wanted to highlight a few interesting ongoing projects we have. Two of the pilot and demo projects that I wanted to talk about today are the 120 volt heat pump water heater field study and the air to water heat pump field study. So for the 120 volt heat pump water heater, Focus on Energy is conducting a field study in Wisconsin in partnership with other Midwestern states to assess cold climate performance for 120 volt heat pump water heaters. Right now, these have all been installed in homes throughout Wisconsin. We did recruiting in 2023. These were all installed in Q3 and Q4 in 2023, and data is currently being collected. So right now we are looking to collect data through, I want to say September, October, about a year's worth of data for each of the homes, which will then be compiled into a report that, fingers crossed, says this is a great technology in Wisconsin. So more to come on that. The other study I wanted to highlight was the air to water heat pump study. So we hear a lot about heat pumps in homes that have traditional furnace and AC split systems, but there's homes in Wisconsin that also have geothermal heat pumps or a boiler, and air to water heat pumps are a way that we can utilize those existing infrastructures in homes or multifamily buildings to also use a heat pump. So right now, this study is in the outreach phase, looking for owners of single and multifamily properties to participate. They will work closely with a contractor. Participants will work closely with a contractor and our investigation team. And we are actually paying for some of these systems, the demonstration systems, to be installed at these single and multifamily properties so we can collect the data on them and see how well they work and what makes sense in Wisconsin. So if you have any customers that you know of that have a boiler or and would be interested in piloting this heat pump technology, please reach out to the program. There are many other pilots and a couple demonstration projects that Focus on Energy is working on right now. You can find them at the link there. We are working right now to make updates to our future focus page. Those should be done soon, but we're hoping to really be able to provide more information to you guys about what is happening and what the outcomes have been of these, the demo projects and the pilots. Some other activities we've got going on right now. We recently released 2 calls for ideas. Responses were due at the end of June for our annual pilot pitch day and our EERD, or the Environmental and Economic Research and Development. EERD, or for the pilot pitch day, there was 3 categories that we were looking for pilot ideas within: partnering with community-based organizations, increasing participation from hard-to-serve segments, and engaging with diverse business enterprise trade allies. In those 3 categories, we received a total of 18 ideas. 14 of those ideas were moved to the next level of subject matter expert review. And those ideas will finish the review in the next week or so here. And sort of the pilots that we like and meet our scoring criteria will be invited to pitch day, which will be occurring August 14th this year. In the EERD concepts, we had 4 categories that were all tied to a lot of the quad directives that came from the quadrennial 4 planning process the commission undertook. Those 4 categories were proactive market transformation, targeted emissions reductions, extending the value of energy efficiency, and assessing the landscape of decarbonization goals. We'd received 10 ideas across these 4 categories, and 9 of those have moved on to the subject matter expertise review level. Finally, we have the Focus Emerging Tech Accelerator. This is a partner to our Industrial Technology Accelerator, which has been around in one name or another for many, many years. The Focus Emerging Tech Accelerator really focuses more on residential and non-industrial technologies, so looking at technologies that really support small and mid-sized businesses as well as homes. We issued a request for qualifications earlier this year to create a pool of qualified firms that are ready to take on projects. We selected 4 firms in this process, and they are currently involved in the kickoff process. Contracting has almost wrapped up with all 4 firms. There's one outstanding contract, and they're really moving to start taking on technology review in August. You go to the next one, Matt. So that's future focus. The other topic I was going to cover today is underserved research. So the Wisconsin Public Service Commission included several order points regarding the accessibility of focused on energy programs for utility customers in its quadrennial planning process for Quad 4. The decisions have a common theme that's really centered on using this current quad that we're in, so 2023 to 2026, as a transitional period to gain knowledge and information that are going to support some future planning and policy decisions. So, like I said, many points. The order point related to underserved research is listed there. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. So the underserved research is order point 29, which basically said the program administrator is gathering data and looking at it to say what communities or geographic areas or different criteria are considered underserved by focus on energy. So the findings on the next slide of what is underserved, the map shows which tracts are underserved, which is the bottom quartile of all of the census tracts, on one or more of the program activity metrics. So as part of underservice, we looked at application quantities, energy savings, and incentives paid to these different census tracts, because we felt like one of those 3 metrics alone didn't tell the full story of potential underservice. So looking at those metrics collectively, you'll see here that the pink areas of the map are considered underserved in 1, 2, or 3 of those metrics, depending how dark pink it is. So the dark blue areas have been flagged as not being underserved, so they are proportionally seeing the right amount. That's maybe not the right word I'm looking for, but they're proportionally seeing applications, quantities, energy savings, and incentives proportional to the populations or households within those census tracts. So this is looking at the pink areas as underserved. This information is useful in understanding what communities may have barriers that are preventing them from meaningfully engaging with focus on energy. It does not, however, indicate why these areas have seen relatively low focus activity. One notable barrier facing some of the communities is that they're potentially served by electric co-ops not participating in focus on energy. So you'll see some areas of the state that have non-participating electric co-ops that are pink that we are digging into a little bit more. Data limitation concerns really led the project team to include those areas of state in this initial analysis, understanding that program interventions will ultimately be directed to communities in participating utility service areas. So what comes next with this research? The report that the administration team put together was delivered to the Public Service Commission staff for review and discussion in March. From that, PSD staff put together a memo for commission consideration that had kind of 2 key decision points. There was a proposed framework for underservice that will be considered, as well as some new key performance indicators for the program to target some of the areas identified through this research as maybe needing some more attention from focus on energy. That memo went out at the end of June for public comment and is expected to be part of the commission open meeting discussion this Thursday, July 18th. As I mentioned, part of that memo includes new key performance indicators that the administrator would be contracted to achieve. Right now, there's 2 KPIs in our contracts related to rural spend and income qualified applications that are currently only slated to go through 2024. So part of the commission discussion will be whether those should continue or be replaced with some KPIs identified through this underserved research. And those would be in place for 2025 and 2026. The program actions and program design considerations are really dependent on some of these PSD decisions, but we are already talking about things that we can do regardless of the outcomes of the upcoming discussion. Specifically targeting marketing to certain areas of the state, working with community-based organizations that serve some of these underserved areas of the states. These discussions will really be happening between the administrator and implementers when we start our 2025 planning meetings, which are coming up pretty soon. Actually, we typically start those late August, early September. So lots of conversation, lots of interesting stuff in this report. More to come after we hear some next steps from the commission. That is everything I have, and I am going to pass it over to who I heard earlier is the coolest person on this call, Chris Schultz-Spiegner.
Well, thank you. That's a lot that you shared. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of that. So, all right. Marketing. Wanted to share a little bit of the things we've been working on so far this year. I love to show pictures. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm the coolest, because I get to show all the pictures. What you're seeing here are some of our new Spanish materials we created this year. Last year, we placed some effort on making sure we had collateral for our Spanish-speaking audience. This year, we've enhanced that by including translated videos. We're going to try some advertising with La Movida in Q3, Q4 this year. And then we're also working through some business microsite, which I think Lee is actually on this call, and her team's helping us. We're working on some updates to our residential content. And then just as a heads up, our implementer working on the online marketplace and the free packs, they are actually working on updating their website, and it's going to combine packs and marketplace, and they're going to make sure that the Spanish version of that is also live. So a lot more pieces coming yet for this audience. So I'm excited about all of that. In addition, this year we've been doing a lot with general awareness. Wisconsin Public Radio, we've been sponsoring again the two boys in that image with the rainbow. That is a part of their digital advertising. We're actually on their webpage as well. So some general awareness that way. We spent time earlier this year working with Business Times and making sure that we were doing some general business awareness marketing. So we did a lot there in their newsletters as well as on their digital channels. And then finally, all of you, you've been really helpful in helping us spread the word through your newsletters, bill inserts, social media content. And then, of course, coming up very shortly, We Energies invites us to be in their We Energies Energy Park. So a lot of activity happening there. And we always see a big uptick in participation or interest whenever you send out content about the programs. Next slide, please. I wanted to make you aware of one of the things we've been working on with the website. We're in the process of updating our Get Started tool. If you're familiar with that right now, it's in the upper right-hand corner of the website. You can go there and it helps you find all of the rebates and incentives available to your customers, actually. And what we're doing now is we're actually we're increasing the value of that tool. We're making it so it's a little more comprehensive. People, if you can see on that screenshot there, you've got more information that we're asking you to provide. So which area you're living in, your household size, income, as well as your gas and electric utility. When you provide that information, it's going to give you a variety of rebates, incentives, instant discounts, IRA home energy rebates, tax credit information, possibly weatherization assistance information that you are eligible for based on the information that is included. So we're really excited about this tool. Our goal is to have that go live end of July, beginning of August. It's very intuitive. It's going to be mobile friendly. And we feel like it's really going to give utility customers just a little bit more information for them to find out what they're eligible to take advantage of. Next slide. And of course, each year we recognize businesses around the state as well as trade allies that work with Focus on Energy, the Energy Efficiency Excellence Awards. What you're seeing here are the businesses and the trade allies that are being recognized as we speak. I believe we've gone through the first 5 of 10. Tomorrow we have another one, and then we have another one, I think, next week. And then we have a little break, I think, until August. So I'm very excited to do these. And it's really actually a nice opportunity for us to get to these customers and these trade allies. They are so appreciative of the work we do with them and the services we offer and the incentives they get. And it's just a really good reminder of why we come and do what we do every day. So Want to thank all of you as well. You and your team members are a big piece of this, whether it's you're actually on site with these customers or you're actually nominating customers. We love having you at these events as well. So thank you for your participation. Next slide. And of course, I always like to talk about the fun media and public relation things we're doing. I mentioned the Focus Energy Efficiency Excellence Awards. So we do videos for each of these events when we do the presentations. And then we share those out as we get closer to Energy Awareness Month. So I think we'll start sharing those out in about August. We've been trying to promote on the business side, the value, the non-incentive or the non-dollar value that the program brings to customers. And this is the second video in a series. It's called A Day in the Life of a Focus Energy Advisor. This particular one, you can see the image of it up at the top there, focused on the ag business. We have Jessica Milsna there. She is meeting with a farm group that does more than actually cattle or cows. They're also doing some other greenhouse items, but it talked about all the things that she does when she goes to the farm. And then the farmer talks about how valuable that is to her business. So it was a very good video. It is out on YouTube if you're interested, but it's another way to share what the value is that we bring besides just incentives. The bottom left picture shows another avenue of this where we talk about our building performance consultants. So these are the individuals that go out and test homes, the new homes that are being built, and making sure that they are being built to the standards we've set, make sure they're energy efficient. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, this year we've started to do, we call them Mythbusters, but it's called What's the Story? And we have 5 business-related myths that we busted and 5 residential myths that we busted. And those are out on the website or on YouTube as well. So just a variety of different things we're doing. So something that's a little more lighthearted or a little fun, as well as some of the more serious. And we're happy to share any of this with any of you. I know we created some videos for the utilities to take advantage of and share out. If that's something you're interested in, just let us know. And then, of course, last but not least, October is coming, and that is Energy Awareness Month. And so we will be sharing a lot of content during that time, too. So happy to work with you on any of that. I believe that's my last slide. And I'm going to hand it over to Dylan.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. So I've got a fairly short but sweet update for the IRA home energy rebate programs. So this was big news. Wisconsin, both of our Homes and Here program applications were approved by the DOE. Nice feather in our cap. We were the first state in the country to receive approval for homes. There were a few that beat us to the Here program approval, but that also means that because we have Homes and Here, we're also the first to receive approval for both programs. So that was fantastic. There was a ton of hard work to get to that. Our team worked very closely, have been and will continue to work very closely with the Public Service Commission staff to get these programs stood up. Big event for us last week. Kind of our first public thing. We did launch the registered contractor registration portal. That was last Thursday. So contractors can now begin to sign up. So the process there, they're going to go into that portal, give us all their information. We're going to give it a quick review, make sure everything checks out. We have everything they need. Next is a contractor training. So that's going to be our current focus outreach team is going to provide trainings. It's more of an in-depth training for the contractors to really understand what's required of them and the processes in the program. And then after that point, they'll be eligible, they'll be full registered contractors and able to be found on the Find a Registered Contractor tool. So our contractor trainings do start later this week. Our first one is Thursday. Some IRA webpage updates. Our contractor page is live. I believe Matt said he had sent out a link to that page for everyone. It's live. There's not a current live link within the existing focus pages, but it is a live page that you can access. We have sent that to all of our existing focus trade allies and anyone signed up for that contractor listserv that we have. We do plan to provide additional resources on that page, stuff like checklists for contractors, sample invoices, different guidelines, retroactivity, lists of approved tools, etc. And then before we do launch the programs later this month or early next month, we will be updating our landing pages for each of the programs. And we'll have additional resources up on those web pages as well, including the Find a Registered Contractor tool. Next slide, please, Matt. So again, just a quick timeline to keep showing you guys the same timeline, but we keep updating it, which is great. So here we are in July. Again, we received our approval for our programs, which is fantastic. Getting contractors recruited and trained up. And then looking at early August, very early August, I want to say, we are going to launch that homes program. This will be kind of in two phases. I've got early August and late August listed here. When we launch the program, it is going to be our, hey, programs open and available to start interacting with. What that means is that we will have the customer income qualification portal live. So folks that think they are, potentially eligible for a moderate or low income set of rebates, they do need to go through this portal and qualify. That is a requirement of these federal programs that we, verify their income. So they can start that process, and then they can also find a registered contractor. And so that that on that same date, in early August, we'll make both of those live so they can get qualified and then find a contractor to start planning their work. A little bit later in August then is when kind of the second phase where projects can be submitted. We are waiting on DOE to get some of their things sorted out so that we can receive projects and submit them, and then obviously receive payment back from the federal government for those. So that's why that's staggered a little bit. We did want to make sure that customers could at least start the process in early August. We didn't want to hold things up. So project submission will be a few weeks likely after kind of this first phase of the program. Then we're looking at September still for our HERE program, very likely just a contractor install path. And then at some point in the near future, we're considering a measured approach and then a retail version of HERE as well. Next
Hey, Dylan,
slide, please. Yeah.
You just take a minute to describe the difference between homes and HERE.
Oh, of course. Yeah, so the two programs, both part of the IRA home energy rebate programs. We've got homes and HERE. The homes is a modeled approach, or that's the approach that we're taking to start. There is this measured path we can choose to pursue in the future. Essentially, it's kind of technology agnostic. So we can do building shell, HVAC, water heating, appliances, put those upgrades into a model. And if we can hit at least 20% predicted energy savings in that model with the upgrades we've chosen, then that home is going to be eligible for these federal rebate dollars. The rebate amounts do vary. There are increasing amounts for higher savings. Essentially, we've got a 20% kind of intro tier, and then if you can hit 35% savings, there's additional dollars available. And then there are more dollars available for low-income homes, and then slightly fewer dollars available for high-income homes. But every home in the state is eligible to participate in homes. And then the HERE program is low and moderate income only. It is more of an appliance or individual kind of prescriptive rebate approach, more similar to most of our traditional focus programs. It is intended primarily to kind of encourage electrification. It is the home electrification appliance rebate program. And again, that is low and moderate income only. Stuff like heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, some Energy Star kitchen equipment, heat pump, clothes dryer. And then some electric service upgrades actually as well. So electric panel, electrical wiring in there also. We do plan to kind of launch with a contractor install version. There is a retail aspect of that. And we're honestly still kind of trying to figure that out with DOE and the retailers. And there's just a lot going on behind the scenes on that. We do certainly intend to have some version of retail as part of that, but just need to figure that out yet. Whereas we do know contractors are already available to install heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, et cetera. And so we don't want to hold up launch of that program just to figure out retail. All right, and then just two quick slides here on just some webpage updates. So again, that registered contractor webpage, here's the link. I believe Matt had also already sent that. We do have a couple of contractor-focused introductory webinars recorded. So I think they're about 15 minutes a piece, one for homes, one for HERE. They are meant for a contractor to view gauge their interest in kind of pursuing and applying to participate in the program. Also a great primer if you're just not super familiar with either of the programs. And then again, it'll house all of our resources. And then next slide, Matt. Yeah, and then finally the webpage. We will be adding these updates. I probably should have put that specific language in here. These are updates that will be coming. So the homes in the year, individual program overviews, current status of each, and the items listed there. So that is all me, and I think I'm turning back to you, Matt.
Great. Thanks, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
You're the second coolest person on our team.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, that was a lot of information. And if you guys have any questions, we have a few minutes here after I just provide a couple more updates on the program administration side. One very important one is we're seeking to add a new member to our utility relations team. This is a replacement for Frank Barth, who was on our team for the last 6 years or so, and Frank has moved back with WPPI as an energy services manager serving Kaukauna utilities. Frank will be hard to be replaced. He was a valued team member and provided excellent service to our utility partners. However, we are have the position open, and if you know of any interested candidates, there's a link to the job posting available here. And also, I just want to let you know that this slide presentation and also the recording, hopefully I recorded this correctly, will be available on our utility resources webpage on our website. I'll also send a link out to that in the next July utility e-newsletter that will be sent out probably within the next week or so. All right, well, that's it for today. I think, if there's any questions that people have, since we have everyone on the focus team on still, feel free to unmute your mic or post it in chat. Okay. See any? Okay, well, that's great. I'll give you back some time on this. Oh, here we go. Is child support considered part of income eligibility? Income eligibility for probably the home energy rebates. Dylan, do you know if that's? Yes.
We are essentially using our existing income qualification processes that we've had with Focus for years. We've developed a nice set of rules for those. We're essentially leaning on those for our IRA programs. That is a pretty specific detail that I don't recall exactly. We do have information up on the website now about what does and doesn't count as income when we're evaluating income, essentially. I would refer you to the website. Our implementation team would probably know a little bit more than I would on this one. But
Dylan, is that information on the Focus income qualification or the home energy rebate side?
It should. I would say just the standard Focus income.
Okay. So if you went to the Focus on Energy website, you look under equipment rebates, let's say there's an income qualification section that will list the details of what is how we verify or qualify income. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, there's a link, and I'll even just share the link here in the chat. Oh, looks
Scott
like
just did.
Scott beat me to it. Right on. Thank you, Scott.
Look at our team here, just jumping all over this. Great. Okay, any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all for joining. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions or need anything. Please stay tuned to additional information coming from communications from our office. Our utility newsletter is always a good source of updates. We'll also include updates on the home energy rebates as we're getting close to launching that. So a lot more to come. Thank you.